Everything you have been through, every hard season, every disappointment, every moment you had to dig deeper than you knew you could, every time you got back up when staying down would have been so much easier. None of it was wasted. None of it was random. All of it was preparation. And the moment you have been preparing for, whether you knew you were preparing or not, is right here, right now, in this season of your life. And the only question that matters today is whether you are going to recognize it and step into it, or whether you are going to let it pass while you wait to feel more ready. Because I need to tell you something important about readiness. You are never going to feel completely ready. And the people who changed their lives, who stepped into their power and built the thing and said the brave thing and became the version of themselves they had been quietly dreaming about, they did not feel ready either. They just decided that waiting was no longer an option. Now let me acknowledge where you actually are right now, because I think that matters before we talk about stepping into anything. Some of you have been in a long season of invisible work, doing the inner work, the healing, the learning, the growing, without a lot of visible results to show for it. And it is exhausting to work hard in ways nobody can see. Some of you are standing at the edge of something, a decision, an opportunity, a conversation, a leap of faith. And there is a part of you that is genuinely excited, and another part that is absolutely terrified, and both parts are talking at once, and it is loud in there. And some of you have been ready for a long time, but something keeps stopping you at the threshold. Fear, dressed up as practicality, doubt, dressed up as wisdom, perfectionism, dressed up as standards. And you keep not quite stepping through the door, even though part of you knows the door is open. All of that is real. All of that is valid. And all of that is exactly what the moment before a genuine power step feels like. So if you feel any of that right now, you are not behind. You are precisely on time. Here is the core challenge and why it matters so much. Most people do not fail to step into their power because they lack talent, intelligence, or opportunity. They fail because they are operating from an outdated version of their own identity. They have grown, genuinely grown, through everything they have been through, but their self-concept has not kept up. They are still seeing themselves through the lens of who they were before the hard seasons, before the lessons, before all the invisible work they have been doing. And they are trying to step into a bigger life while still carrying a smaller story about who they are. That gap between who you have actually become and who you still believe yourself to be is what keeps the power locked up. And closing that gap is what stepping into your power actually means. It is not about becoming someone new. It is about finally catching up to who you already are. Here is the framework. Think of your life as having two tracks running simultaneously. The outer track is everything visible. Your circumstances, your achievements, your relationships, your bank account, your body. The inner track is everything invisible. Your beliefs about yourself, your sense of your own worth and capability, your expectations of what life can look like for you. Most people put all their attention on the outer track and wonder why the inner track keeps sabotaging them. But the inner track always leads. Always. Your outer life is always, without exception, a reflection of what is happening on the inner track, which means that stepping into your power is fundamentally an inside job. The outer changes follow the inner shift, and the inner shift begins with one decision: to see yourself accurately, to see yourself as someone who has already done hard things, who has already survived things that were supposed to break them, who has already accumulated, through every experience they have ever had, an extraordinary amount of wisdom, resilience, and quiet strength. That person, the one who did all of that, is powerful, and it is time to live from that truth. Let us get practical, because beautiful ideas need practical handles. Step 1. Take stock of what you have actually survived and built. Get a piece of paper right now and write down every hard thing you have come through, every time you lost something and rebuilt, every time you were scared and did it anyway, every skill you have developed, every wound that became wisdom. Most of us are catastrophically bad at taking inventory of our own strength. We catalog our failures obsessively and skim past our resilience. So do this deliberately. Write it down, because what you are building is evidence. Evidence that you are more prepared than you feel, and you cannot argue with your own history. Step 2. Identify the one specific place where you have been standing at the threshold without stepping through. Be honest. You know what it is. It is probably the thing that came to mind immediately when I said that. The business idea, the relationship conversation, the creative project, the health commitment, the ask, the leap. Name it specifically, not in vague terms, but in concrete ones. Because vague intentions produce vague results, and specific intentions produce actual movement. Write it down. I am stepping into my power by doing this specific thing. And then ask yourself honestly, what is the real reason I have not done it yet? Not the practical reasons, the emotional ones, because those are what we are actually addressing. Step 3. Shrink the first step until it is impossible to argue with. The reason people do not step into their power is rarely that the destination is wrong. It is that the first step feels enormous. So, make it smaller. If the leap feels terrifying, what is the quarter step? If the conversation feels impossible, what is the first sentence? If launching the thing feels overwhelming, what is the one action that moves in that direction today? A boat does not need a hurricane to move. It needs someone willing to set sail. The first step does not have to be dramatic to be real. It just has to be taken. Step 4. Speak about yourself the way power sounds. Pay attention today to how you talk about yourself and your capabilities. I am terrible at this. I could never do that. Who am I to think I could? These are not humble statements. They are instructions to your subconscious mind. And your subconscious, which cannot tell the difference between a joke and a command, follows them faithfully. So start practicing the language of someone who has stepped into their power. Not arrogance, not pretending, just accuracy. I am someone who figures things out. I have handled harder things than this. I am capable of learning what I do not yet know. That language, practiced consistently, rewires the inner track, and the outer track follows. Step 5. Give yourself permission to be seen. This is the one most people avoid, and it is right at the heart of stepping into power. Staying small is safe. Staying hidden is comfortable. If you never fully show up, you never fully fail. But you also never fully live. And the version of you that has been preparing all this time, that has done the work and survived the hard seasons and accumulated all that quiet wisdom and strength, that version deserves to be seen. Not perfectly, not when everything is polished and in order. Now, in the middle of the becoming, because the world does not need your perfected version. It needs your real one. And your real one is more than enough to step through that door. Here is your call to action right now, today. Before the inspiration fades, write down the one step, just one, that represents you stepping into your power this week. Specific, concrete, actionable, and then post it in the comments below. Tell me what you are stepping into, because naming it publicly is the first act of power. It is you saying out loud, I am no longer waiting. I am no longer preparing to prepare. I am doing the thing. And when you write it here, you are not just talking to me. You are making a commitment to yourself, in writing, in community, and that matters more than you know. Share this video with someone who has been standing at a threshold too long. someone who has done the work and just needs someone to say, "Your moment is here, step through." Be that person for them today. Subscribe, because every week we come back to this work together, the real, honest, practical work of becoming the fullest version of who we are, and there is so much more ahead. Let me leave you with this. Everything you have been through taught you something. Everything you survived made you stronger. Every lesson, every loss, every starting over built something in you that cannot be undone. You are not someone who is still getting ready. You are someone who is ready right now and has been for longer than you realize. The moment is here. The door is open. The version of you that has been preparing for this is standing right at the threshold. All that is left is the step. Take it. The power has always been yours. Go with so much love. Your moment is now.